Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Evelyn Knight. I am the host of the Childcare Business Coach podcast. I'm also the founder and CEO of Childcare Business Professionals, which is a company that helps childcare centers become successful, find financial success while maintaining quality standards for the children. My number one goal is always to do what is best for the children, and having a healthy childcare business is what is absolutely best for the children. So I'm sorry about the delay, you guys. I've had some technical difficulties today, just struggling lately. We are having some weather here in northern Nevada that seems to be interfering with my data. So I'm going to try and make this fit in. My first day Monday, I think it was, I got cut off. So hopefully everything works out good here live in the group. But thank you again for joining me. Again, I'm also a center owner, and I'm also the host of the Childcare Business Coach podcast. So if you want to learn a little bit more about running a childcare business, be sure to follow my podcast. I've got lots of great information in there for you. I also do these videos every Monday morning at 9 a.m. I come in and just give you some encouragement for just leading a center. Especially in these times, it is hard leading a childcare center. Whether you're an owner or director, just leading it can be very difficult. So I really try and focus on helping through mindset. My background, my education background, is in neurological psychology as well as early childhood education. So it's very near and dear to my heart to make sure that all of our mental health is taken care of. After all, we cannot be the best for our center if we're not taking care of ourselves first, right? So that happens Monday, every Monday, here in this group live at 9 a.m. and again my podcast. So if you want to watch some of the past videos I've got lots. They're in the under media videos in this group. There's lots of content for you guys to just learn and grow from. My goal is always just to help everybody grow as owners. So we've been talking about the proven enrollment formula, and I do have to apologize. This week has been a bit chaotic for me. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you might know that my husband does have end-stage kidney disease, and he is on dialysis 7 days a week. So that can cause some stressors for me. I also have narcolepsy myself, and narcolepsy is triggered by stress. So yesterday was a really rough day. I made it through the video, but if you watch yesterday's video, you can kind of see towards the end, I started struggling a little bit with the narcolepsy. Normally, I'm totally fine, and it's not a big deal. Every now and then, it rears its ugly head, and I have a hard time with it. So yesterday, we talked about just your professional persona, and we did get really into the meat. If you don't have your workbook, by the way, yet, make sure you download the workbook. I've got my little laptop, or my tablet laptop here. I'm using the workbook as my guide as we go. That's what I use to actually help you, teach you guys, make sure I'm following along there as well as my notes. There's a lot of information in the workbook that will help you guys just really work through all of this and help you to just really kind of sort all of this out. So make sure you download the workbook. Again, you can find everything, including the past videos for this series, under the Units tab. If you go to Units, and then you go to I think it's unit number 4, which is the Proven Enrollment Strategies. You'll see video 1 through, well, this will be number 4, so 1 through 4, and then tomorrow's video. And the workbook is in there, and also just some other information to help you guys out. So I've just put everything in there just so that you guys have it in there to help you out. Today we're talking about the tour. And I am going to get right into it because we are having some weather problems, and I'm a little bit nervous about my internet connection. So I'm just going to jump right in. I also want to let you guys know that I am opening some spaces available for my coaching program and my membership program. So if that's something you're interested in, I will explain more at the end of this video on how it works and how my membership actually works. If you've been thinking about becoming a member, I'll give you a bird's eye view of what I have to offer for my members and for my coaching clients. So anyway, I am going to get just into the meat of it though. First thing, just in case I lose internet, it was kind of hard for me to log on in the first place. So I really just want to make sure I get in what you came here to learn before my internet goes out. So today we're talking about the tour. And I am going to treat this in the beginning as if we are normally operating as always. And then I'll give you some COVID twists. Okay, so first we're just going to be normal center. We will get back to normal one day. I don't know what the new normal will be, but we will get there one day. So I'm going to just deal with it as normal, and then we'll put some COVID twists in it as we go. So basically, what I want you to think about is your center should always be tour ready. So at this point, you guys have already gotten the phone call, right? You've had that professional script, right, that we use. We want to use that professional script in our phone calls. You've made sure that you sound great. They've been to your website. Everything's good. You've been putting your reputation out there. And now you get the people coming in for the tour. So, of course, yesterday we talked about, too, making sure your tour packets are in perfect order, right? Clean photocopied sheets. Everything looks beautiful. Your materials are presented in a professional manner. Your price list, everything that you give out is presented very professionally, right? On clean, crisp paper. I like to color coordinate mine. So like our price list might be on green paper. The classroom might be on a different paper. It's more, everything, enrollment procedures may be on a different colored paper. So it's easy for the parents to organize, but it has to look really good. Very, very important. Just remember, these people are taking your tour packet home, and they're probably putting it in with a couple of other people's. And if yours looks really sloppy, what is that saying about you, right? So just keep that in mind from start to finish. One of the things I really want you to keep in mind is having that professional persona. You're always putting out a professional image, right? You've got to be conscious and intentional about this. From the moment they Google search you and find you, to the moment they are, and even beyond that, even as your customer, in order to retain the child and this family, you have to stay professional, right? Always. So just always keep that in mind. Very important thing. So one of the things I also want to tell you that makes it really, really important for you to just be successful in tours is that it takes a person on average 6 months to make a decision. That means most moms are going to be searching, and dads, they're going to be searching for childcare for about 6 months before they actually contract with you and before they make that final decision to become your client. Now, a lot of times, I know most of the times what we deal with, though, is people who are looking, I got to work next week, I got to find something today, right? But I get that, that's what happens. But keep in mind that that's not always the case, and actually it's not even the case most of the time. Most of the time people are thinking about going back to work, they're toying with it, they might go and tour you, but it might take them 6 months to take that leap, okay? So because of that, that's why also you want your tour packets to look beautiful. If they keep this information, it's just got to look fresh, and you have to you've got to stick with their memory. You want to make the tour something pretty memorable that they're going to really want to stick with. So that's actually a pretty important part of the tour. So one of the things I also like to tell myself, and I like to think about, is that I have 15 minutes to really get to know this person, make a connection, educate them on what my center is and what is, why my center is best for their child, build their trust, and show off my center's superpower. I have 15 minutes to get all that done. And it's really, really intimidating, right? It sounds like it can be, but it doesn't have to be. It's just something that needs to be rehearsed and sincere. The making a connection. When a family first comes in, making sure you get their phone, and hopefully you've already spoken to them on the phone and you already took those notes I told you about where you've got their names, you've got the child's name, you've got the adult's name, you've got their birth date, so that you can use them by name, right? That does help with that personal connection. The other thing you want to be doing is asking a lot of questions about the family. Not just stuff that has to do with you at the center, but things like, oh, does so-and-so have any siblings? Yes, they've got a boy and a girl. Oh, that's great. I have a boy and two girls. So not quite the same, but we both have a boy and a girl. And so it's that relatability, right? Finding common ground. You like the bag mom is carrying? Ooh, I love that bag. I love the name brand you chose. That looks fantastic. Something like that. I am sorry if you can hear the scratching. Apparently, my dog is trying to get in. So I do apologize for that. So also just making sure that the classrooms and your staff are always presentable. That's another really, really big importance. So you're going to build rapport and make sure that everything is in good order, right? So one of the things I want you guys to think about is the difference between messy and clean, okay? One of my big things in my classrooms, and my staff knows, it is okay to be messy. There is nothing wrong with being messy. That means that children are learning and growing. That means that they're really picking up on what is going on around them, right? So there could be toys scattered all over the floor. It's totally fine. That having those around are totally fine for the tour. What is not okay is it being dirty. Are the tabletops clean? Are your floors clean? Are the tops of your cabinets and cubbies clean? I am really nitpicky, so when I go into a place, I'm looking at those obscure things that you never think about. I'm looking at the top of your fire hydrant, like the fire extinguishers that you have. I'm looking at the top of your refrigerator, things like that, to see how clean you really are. So that's something really important to make sure. Make sure your walls and everything are just really always clean and presentable. That is being tour ready. The mess is okay. Explain the mess. Just tell the parent. I do it all the time. Like, yes, I know this room looks messy, but that means children are learning and growing. And then I explain to them that children learn through play. That is how they figure out the world around them. My teachers are trained to walk around and facilitate that play, which means that they go in and teach them math, literacy, science, reasoning skills, and everything they need to learn in the preschool setting through their play, right? It may look like it's just free play, but every stick of furniture, every toy in that room has been selected in order to help enhance the child's learning in some way. And by doing that, we've also trained our teaching staff to be in the classroom ready and willing to do that. So always being tour ready is just making sure your staff is presentable, your rooms are presentable, your materials are presentable, and everything looks really just professional and well done. When your parents enter the building at first, of course you're going to introduce yourselves. Hopefully you've already had the phone meeting. Make sure you use their names. You want to make sure you use the child's name. You want to make sure you use their name and remember them somehow. I don't know how, make up a song with their names, write it on a little postie and keep it in the palm of your hand, but remember the parent, like at least one of the parents and the child's name, so you have that connection. That's actually a very, very important part. I would also say make the tour packet very easy and comprehensive. We have about 30 seconds to capture a parent's attention when we're doing something, anything, any kind of print, right? So remember what they have, they got to go through it in 30 seconds. That is not, I'm not talking about your parent handbook, because if they really wanted to know all the rules, they would read it. I'm talking about just your tour packet. So 30 seconds on that. That is actually something that's pretty important. And the relatability, trying to find some kind of common ground during your tour. And I know I talked about this a little before, but finding anything. You guys both love dogs? Oh my gosh, I have a pug. She might have a Great Dane. Two totally opposite. But we've just established ourselves as dog lovers. So find something, anything that would help, and that is actually something that really will start building that rapport up. It's really, really nice for them. And having, it's crucial to make sure that, again, the center is clean. It is one of the biggest things I've heard from other people when they tour different competition for me, including people in Reno, and coming to my center is like, wow, your center is so clean. That center was dirty and it was this and that. So don't neglect your classrooms. Don't neglect your center. Make sure they are absolutely clean and ready to go. Um, okay, so I'm gonna go over some other things. Like as you're going in the tour, one of the things we do is we do train at least one teacher per classroom to be able to walk up and greet the parent. And you don't want all of the teachers to come in at once, so it really only takes one, but all of them should be trained for this. So they should come in as the parent comes in for tour, introduce themselves, greet the parent, show them their parent board. For me, our parent board has our daily schedule, our curriculum, our menu, different things like that, right? So those are the things that you're going to want to make sure the teacher is presenting. That way they're building that rapport right off the bat. They're building the rapport. They should just be that assertive and go and really learn from the parent, right? So that they get to know the child, and then they kind of practice on those cues. So making sure that your staff is presentable, that they are engaging, and that they are also a part of this process. The next thing is I always look for something that's happening in the classroom during the tour that really shows parents how the children learn. Since I have a play-based center and I know that play is the best way for children to learn, I looked for something, and the example I like to give the most is the example of Play-Doh. And there's so much you can do with Play-Doh, right? And so we explained to the parent, like, oh, do you see the children over there? They're playing with Play-Doh. Well, the children each make their own Play-Doh. So in that case, we are teaching them math. They're suddenly learning that, oh, I have to pour half a cup of water, not a whole cup. So what happens when I cut that halfway? Now I know what half, the concept of half is, right? So they're learning math skills. You take that water, mix it with the flour, mix it up, or the oil, and you mix it up, and now you have science because you took a solid and a liquid, put it together, and you created something altogether new, right? So you can tell them, like, look, this is a solid, this is a liquid. What do you think is going to happen when we mix them together, right? You're going to get kind of a cross between a solid and a liquid. So then I point out to them that that is science there. As the teacher is on the table engaging with them, telling them things like, oh, do you think I can make a triangle in your Play-Doh? And they're doing it. What I just gave the example of is math, in that it's helping them with shape, and it's also language development, right? Very important to look at all the different areas that activity, and most activities are going to hit on 3 to 5 areas of development. The big one, always social emotional, right? So if the teacher is there, even if the teacher's not at the table, at the Play-Doh table, but there's a bunch of kids talking about their creations, I even point that out. Do you see how they're talking? That is building their social emotional competencies, right? And hopefully there's a teacher in that moment, and I usually try to find the center that the teacher is helping in. I know in the moment they may not be facilitating, but there's always somewhere in the room that I hope your teachers are facilitating, right? There should always be some facilitation going on somewhere that you can point out and really just dive into. That is how that child is learning, right? And just spell it out. It helps them to really understand that they are not just playing. You really know what you're doing. The other thing too is I try to get a little bit personal. So usually between rooms is where I will start saying things that are just like, oh yeah, I have my 2 sons. My oldest son just got back from college. My youngest son is 16. Letting them to get to know me a little bit, and making what I sometimes call a 5-minute friend, right? So that they feel really comfortable with me in my center. I even if they enroll later, I want them to feel comfortable to come speak to me. I want to be approachable. So I do start small talk conversations with them throughout to make sure that they do feel comfortable. I ask them a lot of questions about themselves too, right? So I try not to make it just all about me, but ask them a lot of questions about themselves. Let me see. I'm just referring to my notes really quick. I know I'm kind of rushing through this today, but I am really kind of nervous about my internet right now, since I've been having a little bit of issues. So I'm trying to get through much of this as I possibly can to make sure you guys get this full concept. So if you look at the notebook, I did give you guys some questions that are going to lead you to a lot of this, what I've been talking about. So now I'm going to let you know about some of the ways that I've heard that about adapting for COVID. and helping with the tour during COVID. I think the most common thing I'm seeing are videos of the centers being posted, and it's like a virtual tour that's pre-recorded. I personally don't like that. It takes the personal touch out of it. I definitely want that personal touch in my center. My state, our regulations aren't so high, so we can still have people tour as long as, when they have their children. Even if parents aren't allowed into the back, tours technically are. That was actually our choice not to let the tours out in the back. The state never told us not to. So that's something to think about. Like, how can you do a virtual tour? Maybe even, and this is something I actually heard from one of my directors, that are in my coaching program, is that they did the virtual tour where they basically ran around the building, did a bunch of video, and then but when the parent comes in for a tour, they sit them down in the office, they show them the video, and they talk them through what's happening, right? Because then it's getting done, because 90% of people will not do the work. If you give them a link for a video, they're not going to click that link ever. So in this case, you're leading them to do it, right? So if you have somebody who you know is going to be a little bit more stubborn and harder to convince, that's the person to go after with this. It's a little bit easier if you sit with them and really explain to them what's going on. The next thing that you can really do that I thought was a really good idea that I got from one of my clients is take them around the outside of the building and show them through the windows, right? Because you're still outside, you're not in the classrooms. If your building is able to do that, that's something you can do. So first we have the tour in your office that is virtual, and now we have the tour that's outside the building that you're looking through the windows and still being able to point things out. You can still show them the children, you can still show them what's going on. I know for some of us in the winter, it's very cold, so it's a little bit harder for us to pull that off. But it is something that we can still do if it's not snowy, and maybe if you're in like Florida where the weather is so much better. You can take them through the outside of the windows. Let's see. The other thing you can do is if you have video cameras, that may be another one that you could do, is like show them the classrooms through the video and the webcams that you do have already. But one of the things, like, again, you can pre-record and put a virtual tour on your laptop, but I think making that personal connection, trying to find a way, is really, really important. If you can't find a way, I get it. If you absolutely have to go virtual, but personal connection can be invaluable. So really think about that, and really just think of, how can I do this where I'm still getting that personal connection? Maybe a Zoom meeting, right, where they're not actually coming in, but you're walking them around the center. If you've got like a tablet or even your phone, you can do Zoom on your phone. Walk them around the center through a Zoom meeting and making sure that they can talk and still interact and ask questions. So there's definitely ways that we can do the tours without having to worry about taking the children into the classroom, or the parents more like into the classroom. That's our bigger concern at this time. So that's what I have on the tour for today. And I will be uploading some more information for you guys about today's session. Just my main focus, again, I'm going to just reiterate the main points of having a tour. Your goal is going to be make a connection, right? Make a connection with his family, make a friend. Educate the parent on why your center does what it does. Why do you believe in what you do? Which is also your vision, right? We kind of go back to your vision on that one. Build trust and show off your superpower. And again, I'll just give you a quick overview of what your center superpower means. My center, when I teach about superpower, I will tell you that everybody needs, if you're going to be successful in business, everybody needs a superpower, right? Or we also like to call it the queen bee. And it's what your program is going to revolve around. My program revolves around high quality standards, research-based standards. So I make sure that every decision I make, I ask myself, how does this contribute to our quality, right? And it really just helps to keep things focused. It helps me not to spend the money I'm not supposed to spend, and it really helps with the decision-making process. So for me, when I'm doing a tour, that means in that 15-minute period, I need to make sure I demonstrate my quality and how great a quality my center is, which is again why I come back to doing like the Play-Doh story and different things like that. I also have a huge banner in my lobby that shows that we are a 4-star center. So, and I always explain that even though we qualified to be a 5-star, only NACE accredited centers got that 5th star. So I'm going to be NACE accredited again this time before the next star rating because I want that 5th star. So definitely making sure that you know what your superpower is. I have one client, her superpower is having a very nature-based center, right? So that is what she wants to really emphasize. I have another client where her value system is really a Christian-based center that is there to serve Christ and spread the love of Christ. So that she wants to really demonstrate and show and focus on during her tour. So those are the most important things. Again, connection, educating the parents, building trust, and identifying and showing the parent your superpower during the tour. Okay, so I also wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about my coaching program. If any of you have been thinking about working with me and you've been watching me, follow me for a while, and it's something you would think that you would like, I do have 3 different levels to my coaching program. The first one is a membership. I have a membership site where all of my members have access to video trainings that I've pre-recorded. There's a lot of video trainings. Any of the materials that I've developed, I offer that up to my clients. A lot of them are in our group, but there are also, I get plenty of my clients emailing me, hey, do you have something for this? And I'm like, I have something for everything. I have written a policy about everything. And then that's basically all there for you. The other thing we do is we meet a couple times a week. Every week I teach on something. Every Tuesday, actually, at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I teach on something. On Wednesday, we've been having, it's actually the second Wednesday of every month, we have a financial literacy course in the group program. And on Thursdays, I have open office hours, which with open office hours, I am just available to my clients. That just means that I'm there for you. You can log on every Thursday between certain hours of the day, which are set every week, and just pop in and ask me questions and pick my brain. That's what I'm there for on Thursdays, is I'm there for my clients. So that is my first membership. One of the things, I just got off of a conference with TLG Financial Foundations today, and Chrissy Mailer, who is my financial consultant. She is going to start doing office hours within my group too on the 4th Wednesday of every month. So if you have financial issues, you'll be able to pop on with her and get a lot of your answers that you're looking for through my membership. So that is the bottom rung of my membership. The introductory, I usually encourage everybody to start there and add on if they need to. The second level of my coaching program is you get access to me, and we will work with you every other week. I will work with you one-on-one, just you. So you don't have to worry about coming to the open office hours. We work together. And then the final level of my membership is you get to work with me weekly. You or your director will work with me on a weekly basis. I also offer director tracks. If you're an owner who just really needs your directors shaped up, I do also have membership for directors. Brandy and I also work to mediate between directors and owners because so many of them are speaking a different language. So that is also part of that top tier that I offer. We'll work with the owner and the director, and Brandy will work with the director. I work with the owner. We make sure you guys come together and really just learn how to make that cohesive relationship, that professional entrepreneur-intrapreneur relationship. So in a nutshell, that is my membership. Again, I have 3 levels, which is the members basic membership where you get all the things. I mean, there's just so much I have to offer in my membership group. The second one is you get access to me one-on-one every other week. And the third one is that you get access to me every week. And if you have a director that needs to be trained, Brandy comes in and helps with that. So If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. If you would like to chat on the phone or like do a GoToMeeting or something, or a Zoom meeting, I am more than happy to schedule time. I will be putting my calendar up in the group, so you can just drop down and schedule yourself into my calendar. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, and I hope this information has been helpful for you. I will be back tomorrow with what I consider the best and most important day, which is follow-up. So make sure you tune in for follow-up. That is the game changer. Out of all these days, if you only implement the follow-up, you will get more enrollment that you can maintain. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow again at the same time. Good night.